What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. This is the Quick Pitch MLB DFS podcast and live stream, James. That's right. We are, for the first time, also doing a video live recording of today's podcast as we break down Wednesday's 9-game main slate. Dude, how's it going?
It's going good, and I like the new format we're gonna try. I mean, nothing changes over on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple.
Right.
On the website, you'll still be able to just click the record button. But a nice wrinkle for those that have noticed that we're putting a lot more time into our YouTube channel and trying to grow that platform a little more. And this helps, I think, connect you guys to us, who we literally sit behind the microphone all day, every day, to bring you podcasts. I mean, John, you and I have been doing the NBA pod for what, 5 years?
We've been podcasting together, I think, longer than that. I mean, listen, I've been with Fantasy Line for almost 11, and you were shortly behind me, and basically a year after that, we basically started podcasting together. So we were the ones that basically brought DFS podcasting to Fantasy Farm. So no, we're not new to this, but we are new to this. We used to do the live streams, obviously leading up to roster lock, but we've yet to do a video podcast, and that's what we're going for. So if you're listening on Apple and all that, nothing's changing for you. But if you want to go ahead and watch James and I for whatever reason, if you like our faces, you can go ahead, go to YouTube and check out the podcast there as well. We're looking at the DraftKings slate for these 9 games here. If we get a FanDuel slate open as well, we'll have James read off some price points there. But again, largely focus on DraftKings here. It's where we spend the majority of our time. We'll kick it off. 9 games here. Go to the pitching. Again, we're lucky enough to have some strong pitching options on this slate. We've been fortunate these last few slates to have some nice top price guys here. Max Scherzer and a great strikeout spot against the Atlanta Braves at $11,100. Carlos Rodon at $10,800 at home against Arizona. Framber Valdez, $10,300 against the White Sox. And Tony Gonsolin at $10,000 going up against the Milwaukee Brewers is our 10K and above tier. I think, James, for me, the first kind of avoid, maybe the first fade for me was the Framber here. $10,300. You got a lefty going up against the White Sox in Chicago. I don't know how your thoughts are on that one.
Yeah, and it's an elite hitters park this year. He fared well against them earlier in the year. 3 runs, 6 innings, a win, 7 strikeouts. Pretty much what he does, right? Like, you are at this point guaranteed a quality outing from Framber, and then it's like, okay, well, is he going to get somewhere between 5 to 8 strikeouts? And it's been pretty surefire. This is a tough spot. The White Sox are fine lately against lefties, though. I mean, all year they've been good.
Yeah, and they got a little bit of a healthier lineup again back with them. Minus Tim Anderson, of course. Big blow to not having him in their lineup. But
true, and I mean, to that point, it is worth noting, like, since August 1st against left-handed pitching, so, span of just over 2 weeks, they're not really world beaters against lefties like they've been. 673 team OPS. That's 16th in the league. 15th in WOBA in terms of isolated power. They're 22nd. I mean, maybe I could honestly see a case for all three. I think all 3 of them are safe. I think you and I both agree that Scherzer is probably the cash game guy. I mean, he's just coming off 2 starts ago, 7 scoreless, 11 strikeouts against Atlanta. Right. And it's Max Scherzer, sub-2 ERA.
2 starts against him this year, 20 strikeouts, 14 innings. So.
Yeah, pretty good. So I think Scherzer is like the clear-cut one. Rodon's actually been hit pretty hard against the Diamondbacks this year.
We talked about this. They actually, they have some guys that hit left-handed pitching pretty well. I even think on this podcast we sort of made that call one of these days. Remember?
I think it was you. I think you pitched that. You were like, that was in like the midst of Arizona's like stretch where they were not striking out, walking a lot, and hitting lefties. And you were like, dude, I'm going. I think that was like probably your Prize Picks play of the night. Like over like 2.5 runs or something.
Yeah, it was. I think it was over 2.5 runs. Yeah.
and he gives up 5, right? I think it was like 5-6 runs. Yeah. So I mean, look, he strikes them out. I mean, 17 strikeouts in 11 innings, so it's definitely possible he does it again.
Big disappointing strikeout performance in his last start. Though only 7 against Pittsburgh.
True.
A team
against,
that his prop pick that day was at like 8.5, and everybody's like, easy over against a team that strikes out more than anybody against lefties at the time, and he dominated them. Just didn't get the strikeouts that anybody had hoped for. So Scherzer, Rodon, of course. Again, I'm likely fading Framber. I understand the recent form. I would say of the top 4 guys, he's probably the lowest rostered. Would you agree with that?
Snoring. My dog is snoring so loud.
Right now. I do not hear your dog, so I think we're okay there.
I'm gonna throw my hat at her. Lainey. Sorry.
She's fine. She's fine.
Lainey, I love you, but golly. Yeah, but like that secondary noise, I just couldn't do with it.
Yeah, fair.
GPPs for Rodon, Framber, I guess GPPs too, and then Gonsolin. I like Gonsolin kind of here.
Yeah, Gonsolin's not bad. Again, Milwaukee a little bit better at home, but we've talked about attacking them with lefties. Again, Gonsolin, fantastic numbers this year, so it's not as if like he's a bad option. Slightly worse on the road, 2.98 ERA. Oh no. Sure. Just something to throw in there. Opposing him, you have Eric Lauer. This isn't going to be a spot where I go to him, but I've been touting it all season long. Loves pitching in Milwaukee. The numbers bear it out again. 2.65 ERA at home this season. We've talked about the strikeout rate better this year for him as well, but you're not throwing him against the Dodgers, so kind of cross him off the list for me personally. If we're in that sort of mid-tier range, the below 9K, there's only 5 pitchers in 8 and 7K range. Do you like any of them? Do any of them stand out to you? You got Kluber going up against the Yankees, Odorizzi going up against the Mets, Contreras going up against Boston, Kopech against Houston, and Quantrill against Detroit.
So am I like crazy to want to play people against the Yankees right now? I mean, they're terrible. They've scored 1 run in their last 25 innings. Everyone looks terrible. Obviously, Aaron Judge can unleash a home run, 3 home runs like on any given night. And Kluber's been really good against the Yankees. So
12 innings, just 1 earned. Is that what I saw?
Yep, 12 innings, 1 earned. Yep. And
no wins though. So
no wins.
Tough.
No wins, but like if the Yankees don't score, there's a good chance he does pick up a win. Probably don't go Odorizzi. He's has looked below average. Roansy Contreras looked really good the last time we saw him, but the last time we saw him was in July. I don't understand why they didn't keep him in the majors.
I told you that I was feeling maybe a Boston breakout, and they got off to a really strong start tonight against Pittsburgh. Yep. So
I guess John, this whole tier is just kind of like meh.
I'll tell you what I'm praying for is for them to give us the 1.5 walks prop again. I Michael Kopech because
for Michael, he's going so over on this one.
He's walking around.
I think it's gonna probably be popular, but Jordan Montgomery has looked super good in his 2 starts.
Yep.
And
Colorado out of Colorado.
Yeah, Quintana had a no-hitter going into the 6th, and that fell apart really fast in the 6th, and he didn't even make it out of the inning recording an out. But they just aren't the same team away from home, and I think Montgomery is clearly pitching with a chip on his shoulder. He's very mad at the Yankees.
I saw somebody tweet out today, has anybody answered to why they traded Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader yet?
Yep.
Nobody
I saw it too. The whole thread was incredible. Shout out. I think it was like Razball who tweeted that out, because I followed the thread. I was like, nobody has any idea.
No one knows.
Single person. Nobody knows that commercial right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Monty is in an elite spot here.
Yeah, get him under 7K. So it's a good spot. And if you're looking at other guys that are under 7K, I mean, I guess, is this a Rich Hill game? You got a lefty against the Pirates?
Could be.
I mean, 4 starts ago against Cleveland, 6 innings, 1 earned run, gave you 20 fantasy points. He's been not good, right? But this would be a matchup where he could potentially get it done. And he's given you certain outings this year where he's been serviceable. If you're just looking for a dart throw on a 9-game slate and you're looking for a reason to spend down, Pittsburgh against lefties, we talked about it. What's their strikeout rate? Like over 30%? against lefties or something in that range. So maybe Hill could sling it. I don't know if you caught the awful announcing post from today on Twitter about Dennis Eckersley went in hard on the Pirates. He called them a bunch of no-name jobbers basically in their lineup. Wondering, he's like, at least we saw the Royals and there were a bunch of top prospects. He's like, who are these guys? So Eck diving in on Pittsburgh there tonight. Maybe they hear it, maybe they get motivated, but Rich Hill at 61. If you're looking to spend down, it is a spot for him if there was one.
Yeah, and obviously a huge shift in park in Rich Hill's favor, going from Fenway to Pittsburgh, PNC. That's a really good shift, and he's been good on the road. 3.42 ERA compared to 6.82 at home. I mean, if you get Rich Hill at home, that's terrible. Yeah,
well, he throws slow into these righties, and the Green Monster's right there, and they just pepper him. So, anybody else at catcher? At pitcher for you before we go to catcher.
Domingo Herman has been better. 3 of his last 4 starts, he's given us at least double-digit fantasy points. 6 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 1 run in his last 2 games. So, could go there. Another guy under 7K, but not I'm not invested in Herman as I would be in Montgomery here.
Sure. So we at the top. We like Scherzer for sure. We're fine with Rodon. I'm a little bit off of Framber. You seem to be a little bit more on Framber.
Yep.
Gonsolin, you like. I don't think we're gonna get to him.
No.
Out on Kluber. Out on Lowry. You like Kluber.
Tournament specific for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Kluber tournament specific. Montgomery and Rich Hill for me. I think are where we're going. You like Herman as well for an under 7K grouping. So that's our pitching pool. For this 9-gamer.
FanDuel, by the way. No, I would have suggested FanDuel, but still no slate out at this point.
Yeah, I checked. No FanDuel slate yet, so I apologize for those who are looking for the FanDuel. Even though we're currently recording at 9:45 p.m. On the East Coast, they have yet to release their slate, so tough on them. For the catcher position, we got W.D. Smith, Will Smith there at $5,000 going up against Eric Lauer if you want to spend up. Sean Murphy gets the lefty matchup against Dragons at $4,500 there. After that, we do have the Carson Kelly lefty matchup for Rodon if we want to sort of go back into the Arizona versus lefty potential matchup there as sort of another mid-tier option for you. Anybody else off the page for you?
I love the Murphy call. Murphy's hit lefties well. Homered tonight. I like I'm a big Kelly fan, so that's definitely in play. I would go Jonah Heim against Oler. Oler's been bad. I know Heim has also been bad, but Heim has a lot of power.
There's really not a lot else. I'll be honest.
Joey Bart's coming off a really big game. I will say, Joey Bart has looked awesome at the plate of late. 432 average over his last 10 games, 1,100 OPS, 3 home runs over that span. So 2,800 Joey Bart. I know a righty's on the mound, but are we really concerned with Zach Davies?
No. So slow. He throws slow. He tries to nibble corners.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you there. First base position. You got Goldie at the top against Herman Marquez. Excuse me. You got Freeman versus lefty and Eric Lauer. Alonso at 5,500 against Odorizzi. Crone in the lefty matchup against Montgomery. Rizzo home against Klubat. Maybe a spot that you could be interested in if you're out on Kluber. Christian Walker at 5K against Rodon, as we mentioned. The Diamondbacks there for a spell were good against lefties and even got to Rodon in one of his starts.
So I was looking up Goldschmidt BVP because we had Goldschmidt in Arizona all those years.
Yeah.
Do you think he fared well against old Herman Marquez?
I would assume maybe because how bad he was in Coors. So,
Goldie, 37 at-bat sample. He is 15 of 37, 405 average, 4 home runs, a 512 WOBA.
Yeah, that seems to make a lot of sense.
Homered on Tuesday, just seemingly just doing something productive every night when he's not in Toronto.
Right.
So yeah, I think Goldie's a a great spend up. I think he might go under owned because it's not a lefty potentially, and it's not in cores. So I like Goldie of that top group. I understand your Rizzo call 100%. We've kind of talked about it all year where he's been really good at home. 540 slugs,
Right.
17 of his 27 home runs, 914 OPS at home. But they're just so bad right now. Like I don't, and I get it. They're not going to be this bad like all year, and the Yankees are eventually going to break out, right? And it's like
You would
their
assume so.
offense is like we think that their offense is like too good to be this bad. But I just don't know when that breakout's going to come. If you want to play Rizzo and be contrarian, I think that's fine. But for me, like 5K range and above, it's like Goldschmidt and then move down the list.
Yeah, Christian Walker still has good numbers against
That's
lefties
true.
this year.
That's fair.
Again, just total dart throw if you want to be super contrarian. As poorly as he's hitting in terms of overall numbers, 220 batting average, which is up from what it's been. 455 over the last 10.
Sure.
It's 280 against left-handed pitching on the year. So, he's a guy that we know can get it done. A 952 OPS against southpaws. So, this, I would say maybe the one thing that's going against him is that they're on the road in San Francisco, much more of a pitcher's park than a hitter's ballpark. But Christian Walker right now is really on one, and it could be a good splits matchup for him. If we're going under 5K, as we've mentioned, Olsen against Scherzer, going to be a fade. Obviously, you don't want to run up against Max. Abreu, we know again, historically really good against lefties. 340 average over the last 10 games with just a 730 OPS. So a whole bunch of singles basically coming up from Abreu over the last 10 games. But lefty matchups for him generally where we our bread is buttered. Would you have any interest in Vogelbach against Odorizzi at 44?
I was literally just looking up Odorizzi's splits this year because I like the way that Vogelbach has looked in a Mets uniform. And not just because he's playing My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard as his walk-up song, which I think is incredible. So Odorizzi, although he hasn't allowed a lot of damage to lefties, 259 BABIP, 554 xFIP, right? So it's something that you've talked a lot about in terms like Madison Bumgarner specifically, and we've now seen like multiple starts in a row where Madison Bumgarner's been trash. Odorizzi, John, 51% fly ball rate to lefties too.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be talking about like one of these games that he just gives up bomb after bomb after bomb. And who's to say Vogelbach and the Mets aren't that spot?
Right.
Hot summer night in Atlanta, right? I do like Vogelbach for tournaments only because there's always the chance they bring in a lefty later in the game and he gets pinch hit for.
Sure.
But I do think Vogelbach makes for an interesting tournament play.
Yeah, I like that as well. Connor Joe gets a lefty matchup against Montgomery if you want to go there. I don't mind Mancini, even though it's not the lefty-righty split. It just feels like getting some exposure to that Houston lineup, could be a little bit different. Kopech, despite his walk struggles, has been decent at times this year. So, maybe there's lower ownership on Houston here for tonight.
Yep.
If you're looking at some value, anybody in particular on your radar?
Well, we've been talking about Nathaniel Lowe quite a bit.
Yeah, no respect for him, huh?
Zero. So I think, I think Texas was largely disappointing on Tuesday night or Monday night. They were pretty popular and they let everyone down. It's a really good hitting environment. Adam Oler is not a good pitcher in any form. So I would go back to the Rangers as a full stack. I mean, lefties against Adam Oler, John, 1,040 OPS, a 440 WOBA this year. Like, I mean, we're going to talk about Corey Seager. I think the Rangers are, first because this is our first look. I mean, this is one of my favorite stacks, and Nathaniel Lowe at 3K easily gets you the likes of Seager, Simeon, Adolis Garcia, really wherever else you want to go. Yeah,
I'm with you there. And a pivot up of him, again, just getting Red Sox exposure if you're buying into Boston. Hosmer's at 3,100. He's a cheap guy to get in if you want to eventually spend up on Devers and that crew there. Let's jump on over to second base. At the top, you have Jose Altuve against Kopech. You get Rogers again facing a lefty at $5,300 in Montgomery. Josh Rojas $5,200 against Rodon. Brandon Lau against Herman, 51. And Jimenez has worked his way back up to 5K.
He's probably the only worthy 5K.
Wasn't he like under $4,000 recently?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think
right
you and
here.
I were like
August 9th, $3,900, and now he's up to 5K 5 slates later.
Since then, 4 of the 5 he's gone double figures fantasy points. So we should probably raise this guy's price tag.
That intern was fired. Is basically
that intern was definitely fired. I mean, we love Brendan Rodgers against lefties. Don't love it when it's not in cores though.
Right.
You can't. Rojas has been good, but like no point in playing him lefty. I think Brandon Lau at Yankee Stadium could be interesting. I know the strikeouts have been up.
Yeah.
And
definitely been a disappointing year for him after the year last year.
It has been. But honestly, before this like recent stretch of games, like the stretch prior when he first came back from the IL, like he was pretty dang good. But again, you're right. Like it has largely been disappointing. The slugging's been fine, 430. He's just not getting on base a lot, and he's striking out a ton. So I think Lau in tournaments. I think the Rays in general in tournaments could be somewhat appealing, just because Domingo Germán, although he has looked good, we know Domingo Germán, like throughout his career, has not been great.
Sure. There's not really a lot of mid-tier guys. I mean, Nolan Gorman, I think, probably finds his way into some lineups if you're going up against Marquez. We talked about maybe lefties against Odorizzi with McNeil, but yeah, I don't know. Does anybody in this 4K range, or I mean, is there really anybody else at second base that's jumping off the page here? I mean, I'm scrolling down the player list, and nothing really is like, oh, this is a great spot, or oh, okay, yeah, like this is a good price on him. I don't really feel that way on a lot of these guys.
I mean, Marcus Semien, 4,300. I think is going to be very popular.
It's a good price, but he's not hitting. So
he's not, but like I think what makes him so appealing in fantasy is like he has 16 home runs and 18 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Like like
you hope the easier pitching matchup for him, he's able to find the strike here. Yeah.
Exactly. Like he could potentially. I mean, if he gets on base and steals and scores, we've talked about this a whole bunch, right?
Yeah.
And mainly with Jorge Mateo, like a base hit, a stolen base, a run scored. That's 10 fantasy points. Like and we talked about, like, you just went down the list and you weren't like impressed by the rest of the position. You get 10 points from Semien. I mean, that's a good start. Yeah. And the upside for more, just considering the power and the speed combination. So I think that, coupled with the fact he's been like under $2,500 on FanDuel for the last like week, FanDuel still no slate. At least I don't see main slate. So can't confirm that, but I love that. Kevin Newman, John, has been someone that I've played against lefties a bunch since he returned, and I think Rich Hill is definitely viable. I don't think that, I agreed with you.
Yeah, he's a $6,100 pitcher, so I mean,
right. And I also think on the flip side, like, you could get exposure against Rich Hill. I mean, righties have an 830 OPS, 356 WOBA. Kevin Newman against lefties this year, 339 average, 371 WOBA. He hits leadoff. He's $3,200. You say, I think we skipped over Chavis. I think he's at first base. Like, if you wanted to take a shot on him too, because we know he can hit lefties well. But I think Kevin Newman could be an interesting value, $3,200.
Yeah, Chavis is 2K. So
I mean, look, if you're double, like, let's say you do want to play Rodon, Scherzer, like, the Pirates are a way to do that, right? Like, the Pirates are a way to get the top two arms. Or if you want to play Frambar, if you want to play Gonsolin, like, whatever iteration of those four guys you want to play, the Pirates are a route to that, because we know Reynolds hits lefties well.
Cabrian Hayes, if he's in the lineup.
Cabrian Hayes, I actually think, did Cabrian Hayes go on the IL?
Did he go on the IL today? I know he was held idle. He did. He went on the IL, yeah.
Okay. So it definitely depleted lineup, and kind of even more to your point about, like, wanting to play Rich Hill or just giving Rich Hill a shot. But I do think there's interesting, even if you don't want to go full Pirate stack, interesting one-off, like if you wanted to play a Kevin Newman.
Hanser Alberto probably finds his way in the lineup against lefty at 2,500.
Yep. Sure.
Hit ninth, but wraps around. Trey Turner hits behind him, something like that. And we can't play Vance Grissom, but I wish we could, because he's 2K.
Vaughn Grisham?
Vaughn Griffin, not Vance Griffin. Vaughn Grissom, because he's 2K, but he gets Scherzer. So.
I know. This first slate, probably the first slate of the year. First slate in how many games has he been up for? We will not be suggesting.
Yeah, six games. 6 games. He's got to hit it all at once. So, can't go there. Third base, our favorite spot. We got a lot of top guys here. Ramirez gets lefty and Norris, 56. Devers against Contreras, 55. Arenado, 54 against Marquez. Riley against Scherzer, can't go there one. Bregman at 49. Your top group there. I'm ignoring Josh Rojas because I don't believe he deserves to be at 52. So Ramirez, Devers, and Arenado are probably the 3 we have to decide to if we're spending up.
Yeah, I fully agree. Jose Ramirez, 8 for 23 off Daniel Norris. Daniel Norris did come off a good start, but there's no evidence that will continue. He's probably just going to keep getting shelled more often than not. So I'm perfectly fine going Jose Ramirez. Perfectly fine going Devers. Starting to, show signs of some life. So maybe this continues.
Yeah, I mean, he can't be held back forever. So
True. And I think Arenado, no one's going to play because I feel like we typically play Arenado lefty. I feel like that's that's been his MO for his whole career. So if you want to be contrarian, let's see if there are any BVPs. 1 for 9, the 1 being a home run. But he is hitting 306 against righties this year. So
works. Under 5K guys, you got Justin Turner at 43 against Lauer. You can't go Muncy against a lefty. Donaldson's at home. McMahon gets a lefty. So there's really not a lot in this 4K range.
Bregman's been really good, John.
Yeah, do you want Bregman against
another
Kopech?
2 doubles? I know Kopech is coming off the start that we hoped Kopech would come off.
6 no-hit innings, 11 strikeouts.
And that's the player we hoped he'd be, right? Everyone's
at least the White Sox hoped they'd be when they traded for Sale.
True. Not you. Technically, not you. You're literally the complete opposite. But from a fantasy perspective, it's oh my God, Mike Kopech is being a start, stretched out to a starter. He's healthy, he's going to be a starter, all this stuff, and he hasn't been that guy. Bregman, another 2 doubles on Tuesday now. I mean, currently in the middle of that game, 2 for 3. Already came into that game hitting 380 for.
Yeah, I said Houston could be sneaky today. I don't think many people would play them against Kopech.
So maybe amongst the 4K range, I agree. Justin Turner is probably the guy. But I would throw Bregman's hat into that.
Okay. Is there anything else for you? Do you see any value that you have interest in? Again, I'm scrolling down the list. I don't see too much here.
I like playing Emmanuel Rivera.
We generally like spending up at third base. So this almost feels like just an exercise, really. We don't.
Yeah. Get your index finger.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling.
Nice
if JD Davis had a lefty, then maybe we throw it out. But especially on a slate like this, where the guys we sometimes will go to at value, they don't really have the matchups we're looking for. So,
what about Oakland? What is your thought? Because Reagan's is bad, and they were very popular. I saw a lot of the industry talking about Oakland today, and we're recording Tuesday night.
Yep.
And they're just so freaking cheap, man. Jonah Bride, 2K. The kid, do we miss him? Where does he play? Nick Allen, he plays second short. He homered in 2 straight games going into tonight. I know we're at third, but
Allen's 2K. Yeah, I could go there.
I mean, Oakland, I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
We for value, we're touting bad teams, right? It's Pittsburgh's 2K.
Yeah,
Oakland's are 2K guys. They'll help you get there, but you need to hope that they get there, or else you're
touche.
So, I don't mind. Again, you got to be different. 9 games, and if you want to play one-offs, I would say a one-off Allen play or a one-off, Newman play or whatever. I'm not going in here and stacking, I don't think, these teams. So
that's fine.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Let's go to shortstop. Lindor's at 6K. We've talked about the lefty potential there against Odorizzi, given his Fangraphs saver numbers there. Trey Turner against lefty is the bingo spot. I don't know if you want to spend $5,800 for him against Lauer or not. Seeker, we've talked about it. We like him all the time. $5,100 is a really good price for him. The way his production's been, He of the top group is maybe where I would settle in.
Yeah, I think Seager's the chalk. No question about it. Because then you get Adames versus Gonsolin, you get Swanson versus Scherzer.
Yeah.
It's a Seager chalk day, and then move down the list and take shots elsewhere.
Sure. Rosario against Norris at 46.
Yep.
My boy Jose Iglesias continues to get lefty matchups at 45.
And he's better on the road, which is still mind-blowing because he plays his home games in Coors, but 358 on the road.
Oh, he's not a power guy, so,
I know, but, just in general, hitting in Coors.
Maybe what happens is that his, road line drives get caught up in the Colorado air and they get caught,
Fair.
He needs those things to sink on him so he can get on base.
Fair.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. After that, anything else? Any other guys here?
Baez has 2 stolen bases
Sure.
on Tuesday. I know he's getting a righty. He's just better against lefties, but you could play him.
You talk about your Oakland A's, Elvis Andrews at 2,300.
Yeah, and Allen 2K.
Yeah, right. We talked about Allen. Yep.
But there's nothing else. This is the worst. Actually, how about this? Can I interest you in Brandon Crawford 2K against Zach Davies?
Possibly.
He's a little better, coming off 2 for 3 on Monday. RBI, a walk, a double, 14 fantasy points.
I don't think I ever play Giants. So
I played a lot of Joey Bart on.
Sure,
Monday,
I guess the catcher's the exception for me.
Yeah, and lefties, I think, with now JD Davis, Longo.
Sure.
There's a different Zach Davies is a bad pitcher.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look. I feel like there's got to be BVP here, right? They've faced each other probably a bunch. Well, Davies isn't necessarily. I might take that back. Who am I looking at here? I'm looking at Brandon Crawford, 3 of 14. Ooh.
Davies but see the thing is Davies has had good stretches, so
yeah, he has
over his career. He defied odds when he was with Milwaukee at times. So.
It's true. That is very true.
All right, outfield. Aaron Judge is 62. Mookie Betts is 61. Jordan's 59. Acuna at 53. You're not going to play there. Not going to pay 52 for Varsho. I guess it's your Judge Betts pick.
Yeah. Well, I don't you can obviously play Judge, but
are you even interested in anybody over 5K? Do you feel like this is the matchups for these guys,
sneaky
or
Mets?
even
Sneaky Mets?
I
think the Mets are sneaky against Odorizzi.
Yeah, Nimmo's Nimmo at 5K just doesn't feel like.
Yeah, Nimmo does.
Not a 5K guy.
Yes.
I'll always consider Jordan. Just the power that guy has is crazy. Obviously, Judge falls into that conversation. So, you can go there if you want to. Damn, Tommy Pham's 4,800.
He's been so good though.
I know. They activated Kiki Hernandez today, so they still played Duran and who was the other outfield? Did they have Pham in the lineup today?
Yeah, they did. Okay. They played. I don't know who.
Did Verdugo DH?
Verdugo played. They all played. They played literally. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
I wonder if they played Kike at shortstop. They did.
Oh yeah, because Xander didn't play today.
They started Kike at shortstop.
Okay.
They had Duran in center, Verdugo in right, Pham in left.
Interesting. You mentioned lefties. Naquin there at 46 against Odorizzi. You can go there. Grichuk generally hits lefties well. 4,600 for him.
I would play a Rosarena, by the way. Current form of Rosarena.
Okay. Yeah, over tonight. Good. Yep. Eloy Jimenez at 44.
Yep.
Do we pass by Robert?
Luis Robert, he's day to day. He did not play Tuesday because of a wrist.
Sure.
That guy is always injured.
Andrew Vaughn, outfield only. We missed because he used to be first base outfield. Now he's outfield only. $4,300 for him. Again, if you want to go against Framber, a lot of these guys have pretty good splits against lefties on the year. Mm-hmm. We just talked about current form. It's not really working out for them too much. So
I think if you're approaching White Sox, I think I would, and it's not the same because they're a better offense than Oakland and Pittsburgh, but because of Framber's ability to limit damage, how he has a million quality starts in a row.
Yeah.
I probably would do one-offs.
Sure.
Right? Because if you play 4 of them and they score 3 runs, you're not winning a tournament. And he just does not allow more than 3 runs.
Yeah, I agree. Red Sox guys are in play. Kiki and JD at 41 and 4K for me. We talk about Reynolds versus lefties. He's at 4K. Benintendi at 4K. I don't know how you're feeling about your newest Yankee.
You've heard, you know how I'm feeling. It's not good. Not great, Bob. Not great.
Yeah, not good. Riley Green at 39. That's fine.
Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to be popular, John, with Daniel Norris. We haven't really talked to Cleveland. Like, we obviously mentioned Jimenez. We mentioned. I mean, Oscar Gonzalez is raking right now.
Yeah.
And Daniel Norris is not good. 3,500 is too cheap for Oscar Gonzalez. This guy I was talking about a lot earlier in the year before his injury. Hits right in the middle of their order. 3,500 fits perfectly in a stack with Ramirez and Jimenez. So I love Oscar Gonzalez 3,500.
Okay. Chris Taylor, if he finds his way into a lineup, you can go to. He usually hits well against lefties. And again, bad numbers this year, so something to watch for. Do you think McCarthy finds his way, a lefty on lefty? Any interest?
He might play, but he continues to be good. But I don't think this is the spot. Not the spot.
Let's see. Anybody else for you? I mean, Trace may play at 31.
Yeah, he should play with the
Verdugo at 29, criminally low.
Cash. We talked about it, right? And he drove in. I think he had RBI double, RBI single, like just like steady Eddie over here, just getting you fantasy points in bunches every single time he plays.
Yeah, should not be that cheap. Piscotty, you mentioned Oakland. Piscotty's 2,500. Hits lefties. We know that.
Wait, who was cut today? Was it Piscotty? Yeah.
Oh, it was. You're right. Yeah, today.
Yeah, literally today they released Piscotty before the game. So they led this Stevenson kid off, Cal Stevenson. Yeah, he's fast. He's like fast.
Okay.
Hasn't been great. Again, Oakland, man, like they're so cheap, but they're also clearly tanking. They shut down. They put Loriano on the IL.
Yeah, I saw that today. Yeah, that was the news item I saw. I missed the Piscotty news. So.
Pinder has been dreadful. Sky Bolt is 2K if you want to play him. Like, Oakland's terrible. I get it. I'm just like...
I tried telling you then. You were like, we're stacking Pittsburgh and Oakland today to fire up the top tier pitchers.
Top stacks, Oakland and Pittsburgh. No, not really. But I think Leody Taveras is a pretty good play, included in your Texas Ranger stack.
Sure.
2,600. He has a ton of speed. He was everyone's darling last year to steal all those bases. He's hit for a little power. He's hitting in the gaps. He's stolen 6 bases in 54 games. I think he's an elite value. And someone I mentioned the other day who wasn't in the lineup because there was a lefty, I was wondering if he was going to be Lamonte Wade.
Yeah.
3 home runs in his last 5 games. I know you don't play the Giants. And something you said earlier made me look something up, John. If you had to guess what Oracle, you can go over to fantasyalarm.com and look at our ballpark report, John. If you had to guess what they rate in terms of runs per game, what would you say Oracle ranked at? Like, just guess. Like, just any guess.
8th.
Close. 10th. So, like, weird because it's just always historically a pitcher's park, but it's just interesting to see that they rank 10th this year. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they secretly moved the wall in or whatnot, but just throwing that out there. Lamonte Wade at home, he's very cheap. Zach Davies is not very good. And
what are your thoughts on a Kerry Carpenter at 2K?
I saw that. Hey, his first home run on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, and he homered again tonight. He's 3 for 4. Tonight he's 2 for 2 with a home run. Sorry.
I mean, could we be talking about
Can we do a Tires Pirates A's stack? Is this what we're working on?
I don't want to like spill all our put all our secrets out there because we're But how about a pirate? Like you just said, a Pirates Tigers Oakland stack.
Yeah, that's a good way to flush $20 down the toilet or whatever it is that you're playing. So, all right, give me your home run call of the night.
Home run call of the night. I'm gonna go. I was talking up the Guardians pretty much. You know what? I was talking up Texas more. I'm going to go Corey Seager for my home run call of the evening.
All right, I'm going to go Paul Goldschmidt. You mentioned the BVP versus Marquez. We'll rock it.
That's a good one.
So that is it. James, you're on the playbook, so you'll be the one doing a lot of the work. We'll be in the Discord all day. If you're in there, get in there. If you're not in the Discord yet, make sure you sign up. Right now, we got a great deal going on. If you use promo code NFL50 for the monthly access, you save 50% off the first 6 months of our All Access Pro package. That's right, you get access to every DFS sport, a seasonal sport that we do content for. I think it comes with like $19.99 a month for the first 6 months. So hard to beat that, and that gives you access to our premium Discord channels where myself, James Grande, Pete Cole, Justin Vreeland, Ray Kuhn, like the whole team, Colby Conway, Howard Bender, we're all in there answering questions, helping you guys get ready for the DFS slates. So no better time than now to take advantage of that. Code NFL50 when you go over to the pricing page over at fantasyfarm.com. But for James and I, we will catch you guys later.